you started looking into MLK and the civil rights era when?
So I started looking into that in around 2019.
Okay.
2019.
And why?
Well, I think for me, it was kind of a course correction, quite frankly. Having gone to public school, learning about Dr. King every January and every Black History Month, learning that he was this great hero, learning that the civil rights movement was a high point for America, I really believe that. I believe that King was the kind of he was the quintessential race unifier, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
And as I grew up and began to do my own research, because let me rewind just quite a bit. So whenever we were doing the research for Uncle Tom Part 2, we were looking into cultural Marxism, ideological subversion, and Marxist infiltration into the church. We were looking into these things because we knew that there was something there. These are things that I've been researching since high school, but I always separated King from being
Marxism
a part of that.
And all of that.
I mean, I knew about the Frankfurt School. I knew about Antonio Gramsci. I knew about cultural Marxism. I knew about people like Angela Davis, who was mentored by Herbert Marcuse, who was of the Frankfurt School. But even though King had proximity to all these people, I always felt the need to separate him from those things because it's a no-brainer. King is a hero. We all believe he's a hero, regardless of if you're on the left or the right of the political spectrum. But the more that we were challenging ourselves in Uncle Tom Part 2 to really kind of get underneath the layers and see what was going on, it just kept coming back. King, King, King. And we had to follow the thread in a truthful way, because it wasn't about being a commercial success. It was more about getting to the bottom of things, really.
Yeah.
And really what we wanted to do with Uncle Tom Part 2, which was different than Part 1, is where Part 1 was more focused on Black conservatism 101. Part 2 wanted to take the audience deeper, wanted to basically say, come along with us as we reveal real American history as it pertains to Black Americans. And so with King, it was just a big disappointment to find out the things that we ended up finding out about him, in terms of the fact that he wasn't a real Christian. He didn't believe in the deity of Christ. He didn't believe in the virgin birth. He didn't believe that Jesus rose from the dead. He didn't believe in the literal existence of heaven and hell. Didn't believe that Jesus is going to come again. He basically didn't believe in the basic fundamental tenets of the Christian faith.
And you found this out through his own words, correct?
Through his own words, right. I mean, there's 7 volumes, and there's plenty more from where this come from at the Stanford Library. But, you know, his papers, if you read those papers, you'll find that, you know, by his own admission, he rejected the deity of Christ as early as the age 12. He said that he shocked his Sunday school class by rejecting the virgin birth and the resurrection. And he never recanted from that. He never backtracked on that or anything. He always
He wrote that as an adult, talking about the fact that when he was 12, he didn't believe those things.
That's
and
correct.
As he was writing as an adult, he was saying, and yeah, he was almost proud of that, saying, wow, I was a revolutionary against Christianity from a very early age.
That's absolutely right. That's absolutely right. In fact, he didn't even want to become a pastor. He said he wanted to become a lawyer or a doctor or something like that. But he was talked into becoming a pastor by his family. And the thing about King, which is very interesting, is that he had something like a photographic memory. He was very witty, very charismatic, very charming. And then, too, he had a front row seat to his father, who was a pastor, growing up. And as somebody who was a great mimic, according to those who were closest to him, he can impersonate anyone and sound just like them.
Wow.
He had a front row seat to his pastor's cadence and the pacing of his preaching and his oratory skills. And King picked up on that quite easily. And so he was convinced to go into the ministry and to go to Crozer Theological Seminary, which by the time King went there already had a lot of Marxist professors. Those who were Marxists and those who were just proponents of the so-called social gospel. And King was able to take that teaching in, make it his own, and it would be the launching pad of his career.